What's up guys, John here and welcome back to a brand new year. I want to take a moment and thank all of my subscribers for an amazing 2021, and for those who are tuning in for the first video of 2022 or are brand new to the channel, welcome back to the John Moon community. I've been receiving such great feedback from all of my Cubase videos and would like to kick off the year with another great and helpful tutorial that will allow you more time to create music and less time learning the technology. Today we are talking about effectively using the cycle marker tool in Cubase to playback, export, loop, or even jump over sections in your music. So let's get right to it. So before we go ahead and drag the cycle marker and use it, I want to bring your attention to the top section of Cubase where we see the grid, the bar, and then this quantize section here, because this is going to allow you to effectively snap your cycle markers exactly where you want it to be in order for you to loop, playback, etc., any part of your song and be able to use these cycle markers effectively. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to keep it simple and we're only going to use the grid mode. So in order for the grid mode to be enabled, it either needs to be highlighted white, which you could just click on it, or you can press the default key command, which is J on your keyboard, and it will turn it on and off. Again, if it's highlighted white, it means it is on. I'm going to leave it to bar, and then I'm going to leave this quantize to 16th notes for now. Now, when you first start up Cubase, you're going to see that this is actually, the cycle markers are actually going to be way over here in the beginning, just like this. So the way we pull out the cycle marker is with the pointer tool. We just go ahead and drag this out to wherever it is that we want to put our cycle markers. Now, if you notice, it's snapping onto every bar because I have it set to bar here. So it's snapping onto measure 5, measure 6, and measure 7. But if I go ahead and do beat, then it's going to snap on to every single beat that I have here available. So now it's going to do beat 2 in measure 5, beat 3, beat 4. So the beat refers to the big numbers. So counts number 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on your time signature, of course. And in this case, we're just using a simple 4/4 to demonstrate this example. So it will snap on to big numbers only. So what would happen if we zoom in a little bit closer? You're going to see that as we zoom in closer, you're going to see more of these lines up here. And if we start to move it around, it's still not snapping on until we go up here and choose use quantize. So what using quantize is, it's saying that I'm going to use the 16th note value now. So since I zoomed in, you're going to see more lines appear, and these are now your 16th notes. So if I move the cycle markers, it's now going to snap on to the little beats in between the big beats, which are essentially called 16th notes. If I didn't want that, let's say I want to do 8th notes, then it's going to snap on to every 2 lines. So just like this. This will snap on to any of the quantized presets that you decide to put on this. So if I even do 30-second notes, you're going to see that it's going to change. And now it's going to snap onto lines in between those little lines. And the way we see them is if we zoom in a little bit more, you're going to see that those lines start to appear. Just like that. So now as I move this, you're going to see that it's now snapping onto all of these little lines, so on and so forth. That way you can get accurate cycle markers whenever you're trying to loop, playback any of your music. So the next thing we're going to touch upon is this other option that we have here called adapt to zoom. So what this does is it's not just snapping onto the bar or beat or using the quantize. It's actually adapting to whatever your zoom level is. So as we can see here, if I zoom back in, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to snap on to every measure. Just like this. Because according to the zoom size, we only see the big measure numbers. Now, if I zoom in a little bit more and I get the individual beats inside of these measures, then Cubase knows to snap on to those big beats inside the measure. So counts number 1, 2, 3, and 4 inside of measure 10. If I zoom in more, then it's going to automatically register the 16th notes. So now instead of just the 1, 2, 3, 4, we get the 1, we get the E and then we have beat 2, so on and so forth. If we zoom in a little bit more, you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. It will continue to snap on to however many lines that you're able to see when you zoom in all the way. So that's a quick and easy way to snap your cycle markers wherever you want in your session, and you can see that you can get really accurate with what beat you want it to land on. Now, what if you don't want it to land on a specific beat, or you want it to just kind of move around freely? You could press J or click up here and turn off grid mode, and now you're going to see that this is in what we call slip mode, which essentially allows you to just move freely throughout any of the beats without it snapping onto anything. So if I zoom in here, you're going to see that I get to kind of just move around freely. Nothing is snapping, and you can get even more detailed in where you want the cycle markers to land. Again, a very quick and easy way to just get the cycle markers exactly where you want it to loop, playback, export. And now we're going to go ahead and talk about how you can actually jump over measures inside of Cubase. So I'm going to actually turn on the grid mode back on, and I'm going to use the bar, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to jump over sections in your song. So let's say you have a verse, a chorus, then a bridge, but you want to hear what it sounds like jumping from your verse straight to the bridge. What we can do is we're going to make an assumption here and say that measure 1 is our verse, measure 2 is going to be our chorus, and measure 3 is going to be our bridge. And I'm going to go ahead and move these cycle markers to this section here. Let me actually put a marker track so that we can follow along here. So I want a verse here, and I'm going to call this a verse. I want my chorus here, and let's call this a chorus, using marker tracks so that you can follow along visually. And then I have my bridge. So let's say I want to play my verse. I like how it sounds going into the chorus and then going into the bridge. But I want to see what it sounds like from the verse jumping over the chorus and straight to the bridge. So all we need to do is actually just flip the cycle marker. We're going to grab the left one and we're just going to lay it on the other side of the right marker, and as you can see, the flags are facing outward. And I'm going to place this one on 2, and then I'm going to place the other side on 3. You need to enable cycle marker. How do you do that? Well, you can go down here in your toolbar, and if you don't see this here, you're going to see this little 3 dots here where you can extend or decrease the amount of tools you want in your transport section here. And you're going to find this little arrow that kind of looks like it's going facing backwards, like a U-turn. If you click on that, you're going to see it's going to turn orange. If you flip it the other way, meaning facing the right way, looping inside the section, then you're going to see it purple. If it loops outside the section, it's going to turn to orange here. Another way you can enable this is if you have a full-size keyboard, then in the number pad section, if you hit the /, that will enable and disable the cycle marker. So that's another cool way for you to just use shortcuts to quickly enable the cycle marker. Now watch what happens if I press play with the cycle marker enabled, and we're going to see that it's going to jump over the chorus and go straight to the bridge. And just like that, it jumped over, and we have an idea of what it sounds like going from the verse to the bridge. Now, if we do it the other way, let's say we just want to hear what the verse sounds like, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the flags are facing each other now. And if I play it inside of this cycle marker, it's going to continue looping measure 1. Again, this is a very handy tool to learn how to use. This will make your writing, creating process a lot more smooth if you're able to loop sections, and also learn how to use it to jump over sections so you can hear how different transitions work within your music. So now let's talk about when you have a region inside of Cubase and you want to lock on your cycle markers onto that region without having to manually shift these left and right. I think this is going to be a game changer if you don't know how to do this already, so that you can snap on these cycle markers without having to slide this over, or let's say your project is super big, you don't have to zoom in or zoom out. Look for the markers in the beginning and then have to drag it out with your mouse like this. So let's go ahead and put an instrument track in here, and I'm just going to open up an instance of Contact. I'm not going to put anything on it, but I am going to create a region. So I'm going to grab my pencil tool. Let me blow this up a little bit. I'm going to press Z while the Contact one is highlighted. I'm going to press Z to zoom it in and make it really big. and then I'm going to grab my pencil tool, and I'm just going to draw out a region, and I'm going to stretch this out to measure 4. Let's assume that you want to put cycle markers because you want to hear this contact instance looping. But instead of going and dragging out the right one and then dragging out the left one, there's an easier way to do this. And it's all with one key command that comes default with Cubase. So if I go ahead and just put these cycle markers back to the beginning, I need to make sure that this contact 1 region is highlighted. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to press P on my keyboard. Automatically, my cycle markers is going to snap onto this region. Again, very cool that you're able to do this because now you don't need to manually just put the marker on it. And let's say you have a very big track. You don't want to have to go and try to search for this cycle marker tool and then drag it out. Although another cool trick that you can do with the cycle markers is you can see when you go into the cycle marker, you're going to see a pencil tool up here. So when you just see this pencil tool on the cycle marker, you're going to see that it gets highlighted, and then I could just click and drag, and you're going to see that the cycle marker is being created here. You can also do it the opposite way so that you can create a loop starting from the end point of the region. So another cool thing to keep in mind, let's say you turn off slip mode for whatever reason and your region is slightly off the beat and it's not quantized and you want to still put these markers here. It does not matter if the snap mode is on or off. If you just press or highlight this, so I'm going to turn it off to show you. If you just press that, highlight it, and press P, the cycle marker will automatically still attach itself to the region, regardless if the quantize mode is on or off. So again, if you have a very large project and you just want to loop a specific section in your song, you could just highlight the region, press P, and you're good to go. This could also be helpful for a very big song. So let's say you want to export something and your region looks like this. Then you can just easily just highlight the region and then press P. It'll automatically grab the entire region there. Here's another example of how you can use the cycle markers. Even though they are separate regions, if you highlight both, it will still take the entire length from the beginning left region here all the way to the end of the last region here. And if you press P, it's still going to latch on to the beginning and ends of that. So you don't have to worry about them being together or having to glue them with the glue tool like this. You could just keep it separate and it will still work. So I hope this tutorial was helpful and gives you a better understanding on how the cycle markers are used inside of Cubase and how you can use it in your workflow to speed it up and spend more time creating your music. If you have any questions throughout the video, just go ahead and leave your comments down below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the ring button so you don't miss any of my weekly videos. Also, don't forget to check out the John Moon Studios store. I have a variety of merch with the official John Moon Studios logo on it, so go ahead and check it out. I will also leave my Patreon link down below in the description. For just $1 a month, you can help support the channel, and your donations are greatly appreciated. As always, don't forget to share with your musician friends. I'll see you guys soon.